When you think about students when they leave high school, when they leave 12th grade, and the skills that they need to engage not just with others, but even in their workplace, it's very different than the skills-based practice that we did. We know that students need to be able to communicate with other people. They really need to think critically about what's in front of them. They need to think critically about data. They need to make logical decisions. They need to listen to different perspectives and be able to use that to really drive change, to really drive ideas, innovation. And so what we're doing in the math class now much better prepares students to engage in that type of thinking, that type of learning, that type of innovation.
What's the overarching definition of a quadrilateral in general? Anna?
So mathematics is really a lot about discovery. And so a few years back, I really saw the student-centered classroom. And I was like, man, that really puts a different spin on the classroom. It's not about me just giving the information. It's about the students discovering the material, discovering the information, really taking pride in their work. And that was what was most important for me.
So you're ready to help defend if you need to.
Ms. Shivers' class is a unique class in the sense that she has a phenomenal relationship with her students. She has worked incredibly hard to build a mathematics community.
Ideally, there'll be some difference of opinions, right? And so then once all of the Post-it notes are up, Dr. Nichols and I will take a look around, we'll see what you guys have said, and if there are any that are different, if there are any differing opinions, then we want you guys to come up and kind of defend your stance.
Building community in a classroom, if it's elementary or secondary, is critical because students have to feel comfortable sharing their ideas, making mistakes, being challenged. We promote productive struggle in the classroom.
Because if all the angles are right angles, it has to be parallel.
So often when students make mistakes in math class, it tends to reaffirm that they are not good at math. But what Ms. Shivers has done is position her students as knowers and doers of mathematics, so that if they make a mistake, it's actually a reaffirmation of the fact that they are math people, that that's what math people do. We make mistakes, we learn from our mistakes, and we grow.
They appreciated each other's perspectives. They made mistakes and they were able to either correct each other's mistakes or add on to each other. And so that's really my focus in my classroom, is that community piece.
I'm convinced it's a parallelogram.
But does it necessarily have to be congruent to the two that are given?
We just kind of like disagree, and then we work it out until one of us is like, oh, like that must be the right answer, and then you kind of like understand it more.
Like, let's say I know something but he doesn't, I can also teach him. And if I don't know something and he does, then he can teach me. So it helps us fill our weaknesses and teach us to like be better with whatever we're learning when we work together.
I have a tendency to not think outside of the box at all. So if, for example, we've only ever seen problems with X variables or just with Y variables, and suddenly it's like, hey, look, it's a G variable. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? I don't know how to do this problem. So working with other people, it's like, how did you figure it out with T? And it's like, just act like it's X. And I'm like, oh my God, I never knew I could do that before.
You don't know it's a parallelogram. We know that the diagonals are congruent. Yeah, but we need to find that it's a parallelogram and that that's true.
Okay.
The same side interior angles.
Okay, so do we know that these two are parallel?
No. That you can prove.
In the beginning of the year, I really work hard to establish routines, expectations, but more so making sure that my classroom is a space where students feel safe to come in, do their work together collaboratively and independently if needed. We're all math learners together.
When you add these two together, what do you get? Okay, so I have these two angles in the same side interior angle position that are supplementary, which means what?
So this collaborative thinking that this environment gives is just how people learn better. So that's how I learn better in this sort of environment, and she's given a great way to learn.
It's more engaging, so it's keeping my mind active and not just sitting there not wanting to do this. So I'm always doing something.
I guess if one of us has a different opinion, we just have to like tell the other person why we think this, and then they'll say their piece, and then one of us will eventually agree with the other person because we realize that we were just missing something or forgot something that was important.
and like it just makes me want to push myself rather than working alone.
Everyone has different ways of thinking, so not everyone's always going to think the same, and not everyone's always going to be on the same level as someone else. So you need to be able to have varying levels so that maybe you can raise someone's level, or maybe it's like, hey, you're thinking that this is way too complicated. It's not that hard. You just need to make it a little easier for yourself, but that's coming from someone who's like, I do it the easy way, you do it the hard way. Here, let me tell you how to do it the easy way. You'll save yourself so much more time. And it's like, oh, thank you.
So math is really taught through the process goals. You'll see the students communicating a lot, reasoning, justifying their reasoning, and actually perspective taking. So students will listen to other students' ideas, think through their own, compare them to what other students are thinking, and that is how they're engaging in and learning the mathematics. So it's awesome.
I would like somebody from the lime green group and the hot pink group. Come on down.
So when I had them come up to the board, again, that was just kind of showcasing that level of comfortability that they have in the classroom, really defending their position. Geometry is a lot about making conjectures, and so it was really being confident in their answers, conveying that information to their peers and their classmates, and really taking me out of the equation. I want this to be a more student-centered classroom, so just giving them that space and place to give their answers, show their support of one another, and their support of their answer.
Thank you, guys.
In Arlington, we are really committed to making sure that students have a great experience in mathematics, and we know that all leaders at the state are invested in making sure we modernize mathematics and we make it accessible to all students, but also give students the skills that they need. So I can guarantee the community that we will still work towards making sure that students have a rich, rigorous experience in mathematics, that we're building community, that students are able to engage in mathematics in multiple perspectives, able to communicate their thinking, and able to use mathematics to do whatever they desire post-12.